Fear will make you lose your blessings, your opportunity, and fear might even make you lose your mind. It's time for a mindset shift. So if you're new to this channel, I'm KK Smith, your Rise and Thrive guide. Around here, we talk all about rebuilding your life from the inside out. And today I want to talk about fear. Fear will make you lose your blessing. So there were times in my life where I didn't know what I was serving. And in the background of my life, I was serving fear. Every move I made, every opportunity I had, I was serving fear. And I want to unpack this verse today to give you some insight on why you need to stop serving fear so your blessing can show up. And that verse is Joshua 24:15. Choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. I know that sometimes it can be so hard to get the download from God and execute. And especially if you are rebuilding your life. When you are rebuilding your life, it's hard not to carry fear with you. Because whatever blew up in your life, it created a response in you, a mindset in you that you carry to this day. And you carry that mindset in so many different parts of your life. You carry this mindset in your relationships. You carry this mindset in your opportunities. And you even carry this mindset into your blessing. If you are new around here, rebuilding your life and getting back up again, I talk a lot about my season of loss in 2009. And friends, it started with a parenting issue, but it became a domino effect. There were 7 different things that happened during this time in my life. That is for another time and another video, but it created so much fear inside of me until I just really stopped trying. I stopped trying in so many different areas, and God would give me a download and I would push the download just way back. I would talk about it. Talking about it is not the same as executing. Talking about it is not the same as, Lord, I trust you. Lord, I believe in you. Lord, I believe what you believe about me. Because a lot of times in those seasons of rebuilding, whatever happened to make you rebuild your life, a lot of times in those seasons, that was development. I talk a lot about mindset shift and development. And I could really pinpoint sometimes in that season that God was just simply developing me. Now, some of those things, I don't know. I will probably never know why they happened, but a lot of those things I could see development. I could see development in my abilities. I could see development in my mindset. I could see development in the blessings that God had for me. And so today I want to encourage you with this. In 2023, God gave me direct instructions. They are direct instructions, direct downloads from God. And he told me to pivot and do this thing. It was a career move. He told me to pivot and go get this training. And I pivoted and I was obedient to God. Now, I was scared. I was full of fear. But I felt way down on the inside that this was something that God wanted me to do, because this is something that I talked to God about years ago. I was so afraid to invest in myself. That was the real reason. I did not want to get into debt. I talk a lot about debt and finances. I did not want to get into that. But God said, you are worthy. This is the path. And I'm going to show you why, if you are obedient and if you move without fear. So I was obedient to God, and I went through this training and I finished, and it was such a heavy load. It was a heavy load of my time. It was a heavy load of my parenting opportunities that I could not attend because God told me to do this thing. I will tell you, since I pivoted and I did this thing and I was obedient to God and I decided to not serve fear, as in Joshua, as in the verse that I just read, I decided to not serve fear and I would serve God, even if I was not certain about the next step, the next staircase. Where's my foot going to land? Where is my foot going to tread in this next season. I was not sure. I was afraid, but I moved anyway. As soon as that opportunity came, I will tell you that opportunity closed. That opportunity is nowhere it used to be. If you look for it, you can't even find it. When I got the letter telling me that opportunity had closed and they were shutting down this program, I began to say, Lord, this is exactly what you wanted me to do at the appointed time. See, fear will make you lose your opportunity at the appointed time. And on another video, I was talking about how God is preparing you right now for maybe something that's supposed to happen in 5 years from now or 10 years from now. But if we move in fear, if we serve fear, we can't even get to the future. So fear affects not only our current opportunities, but fear is affecting your family. If you are a parent, if you are a grandparent, godparent, if you are even not a parent, your fear is locking up your opportunities. Your fear is locking up your blessings for your future blessings. If you move in fear and not faith, and you are serving fear instead of God, you're going to get exactly what fear is trying to give you. And oftentimes it could look like we're blessed. We move in fear and we don't do the thing, or we don't move into the opportunity or whatever God is putting in front of us. And it could really look like we're blessed, right? But that will be nothing compared to what you will get. God gives the direction and you decide not to move in fear. Now, there are other things that I moved in and I thought they were God, but they kind of blew up and they were not God. And I asked for this experience, right? I told God, if it's not for me, I don't want it. If that opportunity is not for me, if that thing is not for me, no matter how much I want it, no matter how much I'm trying to pull it towards me, I don't want it, right? But the thing that God told me to do in 2023, I can sit here and say that God has sent so many blessings and opportunity to me because I decided not to move in fear. I think this is such an important video today because I feel like we all move in a certain amount of fear. And some fear is healthy to keep you safe. If you're going swimming and you really don't know how to swim, or if you're doing something and you really, this is a life-changing event, right? But the internal knowing of God, the internal, when God told you to do something and you decide not to do it, there are consequences for that. Now, I was speaking of this training that God told me to do, and because I did that, I moved at the appointed time, right? If I would have moved and got ready to move without fear, opportunity would have been gone. Suppose I didn't get ready until 2 years later, right? Suppose I didn't get ready until 3 years later. Fear takes your opportunity. Fear takes time. Fear takes time away from you. You are trying to decide when somebody else has already decided and they're like, you know what? I heard from God. I got the download. I trust God. I'm going to move, right? And I could tell you that this opportunity is directly connected to that God has told me to do. Now, I have gotten other downloads, right? And I missed the opportunity because I was not obedient with what God told me to do. So if you are listening today, I want you to be bold and I want you to move afraid when you know it's a confirmation from God, right? And we will talk about confirmations on another episode, but I into knowing that God, that I'm hearing from God. I have leaned into knowing that I have heard from God, and I'm leaning into action. Ideas without action have no room for faith. I'm going to say that again. Ideas without action have no room for faith. Sometimes we don't even know how we're going to work it out before we invest in a thing or before we see the goodness of God. But one thing that we can be very sure of is that if we move with good intention, we are moving in good intention. We are not trying to hurt anyone. We are just listening to God. We can be guaranteed that we are going to be better, because even if that thing doesn't turn out how you thought it would, you were obedient and you got some form of development. So I want you to think about the next time you're thinking about how fear overtakes your mind, how fear overtakes your ideas, how fear overtakes you. I want you to think about the next time you will not let fear take your blessing. So an affirmation for today is, I will not move in fear. I will move in faith, listening to the download from God. Fear will not take my blessing. All right, friend, if this has blessed you, I want you to share this with someone that needs to hear this. Fear is ruling their life. Fear is taking their opportunities. And most of all, fear is taking their blessings. I'm KK Smith. And remember, you can always celebrate wins, get back up again around here, and rise and thrive from the inside out. Rebuild your life with God at the center.